Hey everybody, welcome to Lambda Talks. This is going to be episode 1, and it's mainly, so far, the format I think I'm going to go ahead and run with is going to be reviewing weeks. I might have a couple episodes where I actually want to put a conclusion to how the curriculum is actually being run, because so far my experience here, with also having experience of going to another boot camp, a in-person boot camp at a much shorter length, General Assembly, and also taking other e-learning online classes or platforms or curriculums. So far, Lambda Talk, not the show, Lambda School is by far the best platform I have ever used or curriculum that I have actually attended, where I feel like I'm getting the best bang for my time investment. Anyhow, so let's go ahead and get started. So week 1, or sometimes as referred by Lambda staff, is called a sprint. And I'm going to go over by the calendar of this past week, and I'm probably going to use this format for the future episodes as well. So, right here in week 1, Monday through Thursday, and this seems like it might be the case for the majority of upcoming weeks or / sprints, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be the meat of every single week. So you'll have 4 days, and the 4 days are, this is what it seems like thus far, is that they're approaching the students at a grassroots level. So they really dive into the concepts in a very specific way, and they also jam-pack the information in multiple learning methods repetitively. So it's basically the label being slapped on Lambda's model of education right now is literally reinforcement learning. Their reinforcement learning is covering all aspects. So how it works is Monday through Thursday. So far, Monday, it's a little bit different because you actually get assigned team leads, which is basically overseeing up to 8 students. They're basically subgroups of your entire class. A class could be up to 200 students, maybe more. So that's why they have team leads, which are people who actually spent time in the program before you did, and therefore they have fresh information, fresh experience. And before getting to where they are, they had to go through validations just like we do, which is the sprints test on Friday, multiple check-ins from your team leads, and tests and quizzes. If you can't pass those, you're most likely are going to repeat the week. So Monday was a little bit different compared to the rest of the 4 days, Monday through Thursday. That was actually more of an introduction to the team leads, class introduction. So I believe this week will not be exactly the same as the following upcoming weeks. But so far, you have 1 hour in the morning. For me, it's Eastern time. I know the class starts 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In California. I forget what specific time zone that is exactly, but for me, Eastern Standard Time, I'm on the opposite end here. So For me, it starts at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the morning, which is called warm-up. But here's the thing. It's going to be the same material that's going to be repeated throughout the day. But this part is warm-up. They call it warm-up. It's where you actually digest video content and reading content. So you have reading materials that is literally the same thing as the content in the video. It's just reading format. So, you're targeting people who may specifically learn better in visualization, visually, or in other methods too, because not only do they have you go through the video portions and also the reading materials, but at the same time they're also building in that repetition already, because you're doing it twice already, but just in two different formats. Then they're also going to have challenges for you to do on those warm-ups or throughout the day, because throughout the day you're going to go through the same material basically again and again. So that's 1 hour. So the next portion would be 2 hours long. So 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. that was 1 hour of you digesting the material. 2 hours, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will go through what's called a guided project. And how this works is you would have an instructor for the entirety of the class, which is attending when the most recent cohort started. She or he will be on a video chat, and everybody will be muted, controlled by the instructor. The instructor have all these remote tools, etc., on Zoom. Zoom is the app that we use. So she'll go through all the new challenges and projects for displaying all the materials that we have learned, but she's doing it live coding wise, so we can all watch. And she goes at a very grassroots pace, which is good. And she also, well, I'm saying she because for my instructor, it's a she this time. I'm not going to say the name because pretty sure I'm not going to try to throw out people's names when they don't want to be named. Anyhow, my instructor will actually go through coding projects that are completely different from challenges or what the video content was, and always will have time or find time to stop in between, consistently I will say, in between doing the projects and asking questions on a question platform, which we use is Slido. And we would just go ahead and have multiple students ask questions about what's going on, what they learned this morning, and also during the guided project. You can people can upvote other answers when they feel like this is probably the most confusing, so everybody's down to a consensus of what they really are focusing on too. It definitely shows. So that there is basically the entirety of your day portion. Your morning to the afternoon is 3 hours of material, just indulging material in 3 different formats, or maybe even 4. You count the exercises and the projects as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually forgot. That reminded me. During the guided project, what the instructor will also do is they'll break you up into groups on Zoom. Zoom allows you to break people up into groups and and everybody will be peer programming and working on solving problems that are pre-configured for everybody. on whatever subject you're learning. That is, excuse me. Yeah. So that definitely is great too, because definitely for new programmers, having the ability to consistently interact and work with other coders or programmers on a specific problem or solution, or just having experience in general is really important. So kudos. So that's your initial 3 hours within the first day. Now here comes 1 hour of lunch, and then you will have 4 more hours. This is what they call project time. So that 3 hours of indulging content in the beginning, 1 hour of lunch, then you have your late afternoon to nighttime, 4 hours of what they call project time. And project time is a time where your team leads is actually here to check in on you, do one-on-one call sessions that could last up to 30 minutes, who knows. They will check on you to see how you are understanding the content and if you have any further questions beyond the 3 hours of work and also interacting with the previous instructor. You also have your team lead checking up on you and making sure you get all the clarifications that you need, all the information that you need, and it's great. But besides that, during project time, you're also doing a project once per day. So each day, learning a particular subject or sub content for the subject of the entire week. What you do is you get a project for every single day, different one. You have to complete it. And once you complete it, the very next day, the one-on-one sessions with your team lead again at the late afternoon to nighttime after lunch, and after indulging all that content in the morning, we'll go ahead and not only just make sure you don't have any confusion or questions or clarifications for the subject that you learned that day of, but also since you completed or worked on a project from the previous day, that team lead will also go ahead and tell you to pull up your code so he can look straight at it, he or she, and tell you if you did something wrong or if you're applying what you've learned correctly, and it's great. If you're not, you might have seen like you didn't learn or maybe possibly apply it correctly, then there will also be something called team lead hours or after hours where there's extra time in the day, or I think it's twice a day. Yeah, so after hours and early mornings, there are some team lead hours that can stretch up to 2 extra hours where you can work and with other instructors in getting extra information, extra help, and all around. So far, Lambda is what Lambda is showing me is that there's a lot of hands-on approach, and I really like it. This is probably the best experience so far I am having, because the content, the way it's being presented to you is such a good way to actually have content and information dissolve. I will say this so far is probably the only program that I would actually start referencing more often, and actually might even refer some of my friends and other family members to actually do, because really I think it's the best bang for your time investment wise. And I've done Udacity under Google program, and I've attended General Assembly, and they were the top dogs at that time when I signed up. They were like the very top ranked like BootCamp for sure. But the thing is, it's like 3 months versus the 9 months, and their teaching models are completely the opposite. It was definitely a great experience. I love GA. That was something that's always going to be in my heart. It started my coding career or journey from there, I should say. But I didn't really recommend General Assembly like that to anybody else. Not anymore. It's like, I think I really dig General Assembly. I dig what they're doing. But the way they're actually introducing the content, I would actually probably question. And I do get and understand the cost of education, but bro, you gotta realize I paid 15,000 to go and attend General Assembly for 3 months. I had much less quality time indulging content. And you know that whole thing that every developer gets told, especially new developers, and if you're a Lambda student, you know this, imposter syndrome. The mental state of where you constantly beat down on yourself and tell yourself that you can't do it, or you're faking it and you're not keeping it real. Deep down, that you really don't know what you're doing, and it just kind of like snowballs into like a more negative effect. There was like a Harvard student and also an Ivy League student that was there because when they got their bachelors, they got their degrees, right? But when they got to their job, they just didn't know what the hell they were doing. They're just sitting on the screen. They're like, I don't really know how to code. It's like they didn't know how to code, bro. So what they do? They just go ahead and say, yeah, screw it. Let's just go to General Assembly. Next thing you know, they're having complete mental breakdowns. One of them was sitting over there like literally about to chuck this expensive MacBook Pro just across the room like it was nothing. It's like, I'm not sure what happened after that. I'm pretty sure they probably quit. Either way, maybe even kicked, because it's a very that was creating a toxic environment. Probably, I'm pretty sure that was something that wouldn't be acceptable to the school. But anyhow, I just didn't think I would run into a school like Lambda School. So far, it's only the first week, but I am really liking what I see, and I'm really looking forward to the future weeks to come. So I think that will be it for tonight. I just wanted to make a quick recap, and also I just want to go ahead and let out a little bit of love for some people that would actually message me and also leave out a comment on. There was one person that actually left the very first comment on one of my videos on my Lambda Talks that gave me a suggestion about the sound. Hopefully this sounds better. I'm a little bit more awake this time too, so but I got new material. I got a foldable sound panel that kind of folds around folds around the mic. So I definitely think this setup is much better. The mic will probably produce much better sound quality. I am hoping that in this video it does sound a little bit better with the background music too. I actually am, if you read my Reddit page, I did say like I'm a pretty newbie type of guy when it comes to making video content, so I didn't want to make it like a completely plain content. Probably add some kind of music in there, something that doesn't sound too bad, but like I could just like adjust it later. But hopefully this music probably is not sounding too bad or too high. Let me know if anybody has any suggestions or questions. I appreciate it. For me, like I always have that community mindset. We all bring each other up. We all brothers and sisters out here. We got mad love for each other, and that's the only way to be. Is bring each other up. Don't bring each other down. So yeah. Anyways, it's Saturday. Just got off of work. Had to make this real quick because I haven't done a recap yet. And you guys have a good night. Yeah, take it easy. Appreciate it.